Give a hand to Christy Love. I'm 48 now, and things have changed a little bit once you hit the age of 45. How? When I was 40, I can tell you exactly how. Now that I'm 48, I really can't remember anymore. I think one of the things is when I start having conversations with my friends, it's not about football or whatever you're doing in life. It's mostly about injuries, medical tests, and how you're adjusting to your new sleep apnea machine. Another thing is they kind of do weird things, like give driving directions when they're completely unnecessary. For instance, I don't have to tell you that when you leave the parking lot here, you make a right at the Rio Salado, not a left, and when you get to Priest, you make a right. And then you get on the 202 to hit the 51, unless there's a lot of traffic, in which case you got to hit 44th Street to go over to Camelback to get on the 51. I don't have to tell you that. I fly a lot, and one thing I really hate is when people bring smelly food on the plane. I was sitting next to a guy the other day, and he had corn nuts. Yeah, he didn't have any food, he just had corn nuts. I guess that joke isn't about food after all. I was reading that the National Institute of Mental Health estimates that 26.2% of the population are crazy. And that pissed me off so much, I wanted to rip my clothes off and run through the streets naked and shoot a squirt gun at them because they said that about Americans. Instead, I think I'm just going to run for Congress. And that's when I'm going to rip my clothes off and run through the streets naked and shoot a super soaker at them. Another thing that really pisses me off is when people listen to celebrities instead of experts. For one thing, people aren't immunizing their kids nowadays. Yeah, measles and polio rates are going up. And it's all because in 1993, Playboy Playmate of the Year, Jenny McCarthy, said that it was a bad idea to immunize your kids. Didn't Jenny McCarthy look herself in the mirror one day and say, if I have a kid, it's probably going to be stupid? She obviously didn't watch any of her MTV videos. It's not autism, it's because the kid came out of her loins. She could hump Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking in a three-way, and the kid would still turn out to be a doofus. Because of her, because she's stupid. Yeah, I would call her retarded, but she's not smart enough to understand that. She's too stupid. You ever know anybody who liked Christmas a little too much? Yeah, my mom was that way. She had 3 Christmas trees. She had 10 Christmas wreaths. She even had a menorah to make sure she had all of her bases covered. She baked in one year 500 dozen cookies. That's 6,000 cookies. And she never invited anybody over. She bought lots of presents. I got lots of packages. I got underwear, socks, paper, dry goods, and gift wrap boxes of tomato soup. Never anything I wanted. One year she did buy me Spider-Man underoos, though. I was 15. And it was okay, she let me return them at the store, and the problem was, at the return counter was one of my classmates from school. So next day in high school, instead of being Greg, the kid with too much soup, I was Underoo Boy. Those teachers were really mean. Yeah, my dad was really upset about all this spending, and every year he'd complain about it after we'd open presents, and every year she'd say the same thing. Well, I'm old and I'm probably going to die this year, so I can do whatever I want. And every year he'd mutter under his breath, if there's a God, Joyce, if there's a God. Of course, every November I'd be waking up terrified thinking, Mom's going to die, Mom's going to die. And then she wouldn't, and I'd have more soup. Most people want mementos of their mom. I have storage units full of mementos. Mostly soup. And I still have some of those cookies in the freezer. Now I have a son, he's 13, and I buy him a lot of presents, and they actually are things that he wants. And when he was little, it was really easy. You just go to Toys R Us, and anything that's not pink, you dump into the shopping cart. Of course, he did go through a phase where he wanted a lot of pink things, but I took him to a bunch of football games, so we're okay. Yeah, the problem is now he's 13, and he only wants 1 or 2 items, and they're really expensive, like a laptop, or a $500 gift card, or some video game that I don't understand. I hope he likes socks, underwear, and tomato soup. And Spider-Man underoos. Thank you very much.